Hey, and welcome to the ABQ Show. I'm Wally Drangmeister. Today we have a guest in the studio that is talking about the 12th annual Exhibit It B2B Expo, DJ Heckes. DJ, welcome to the ABQ Show.
Thanks for having me, Wally.
All right, 12th year. You are the driving force behind this event. I know that. Tell us, what is the event this year and how can people learn more about it? What's going to happen?
Well, the event is at a Slaughter Resort from 2 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, April 23rd. This is the 12th year we put on this event, and each year it grows bigger and bigger, Wally. As you know, you've been to it in years past. We started off 12 years ago with 250 attendees. Last year we had 932. And I'm really excited because, you know, it's really about a community service. And we both have the same passion about economic development for our state.
Yes.
And that's what it's about.
So this is a great place, B2B, business to business, to go and meet other business owners, see what's going on. The flavor is very local, although there's some companies that serve worldwide. Give us an example of the types of businesses that people can learn more about if they go to the B2B Expo.
You got it. We actually have over 40 different industries represented. And here's the neat thing, is we don't allow more than 4 competitive businesses in any one area.
Okay.
We want to keep a diversified business sector in our community. And we actually have people coming in from Rio Doso, Artesia, Roswell, Santa Fe, Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and this is turning more into a statewide event. Okay,
that's fantastic. So I know you have some great sponsors. One of them is your company, Exhibit It.
Yes.
We talked on the phone, and you know, I've known you for a long time. I've known your business for a long time.
I think almost 16 out of 19 years.
Yeah, a lot. Yes. And, you know, it used to be called the trade show industry. You have a new term which makes more sense.
Yes.
Tell us about that, and tell us about Exhibit and what you do in that field.
You know, years past, trade shows were the growing sector. And so we used to be called Exhibit It, Trade Show Marketing Experts. In 2009, when the economy started changing, we realized we're not just a trade show and event planner. We actually are an event marketing company. Mm-hmm. And what that means is companies, they may go to a conference, a trade show, they may host an event, and what we do is we really help them put their brand to work through printing and designing and marketing collateral materials and trade show exhibits.
Yeah, so you can get the exhibits, the pop-ups, anywhere from, you know, I know there's some on the desktop. I've been to trade shows where literally they're like 1/8 of an acre, you know, and cost $3 or $4 million to put together. But yeah, you talk about tying in the collateral and make the brand. A little bit more about that, because I think that's a really important point.
And it really is. And a lot of clients that maybe are getting in, they could be a startup, they could be, you know, a fast-growing company, or they could be a mature company. In different stages of your business, you really need to know what is needed best. How are you reaching your target audience? And what I do best is I take their logo and their brand. If they don't have one, we create one. Right. And then we help them market where one size fits all doesn't work anymore. Right. It used to be where we could all say, if you're a small business, do this. If you're a large business, do that. But what I'm finding is companies are really struggling in getting the right message to the right audience, and that's where I step back. You know, I'm an author of 2 books.
Right.
And what we do in the company is we really work with companies and figure out their vision, their mission, their objectives, and take all that and write that strategic marketing. And does it have to do with trade shows, or does it have to do with just event marketing, or maybe neither?
Right.
How do they reach their audience, and how do we help them get the message?
Yeah, because in the world of business, small business, even big business, who cares if 50,000 people hear your message if none of those are the clients that you serve and you serve well? You'd much rather have the right number of people seeing it if they're true prospects and somebody that could benefit by what you have to offer.
You know, and you've always been right on with marketing. I mean, that's always been you know, I've always admired you because you're left brain and right brain like me. You know, your left brain is your analytics. You understand those metrics and the driven. But the right brain is that creativity, is who is your audience? What message do you have for that audience? You might have more than one message.
Right. Okay, so at the B2B Expo in the evening from 4 to 8, that's a networking event. There's booths, there are refreshments that I would imagine you could purchase, and Isleta Casino, that's a very nice facility.
Yes.
Big. How many exhibitors do you expect will be there at the event
Yeah.
that evening?
We have 135 businesses represented as exhibiting. We'll have all the attendees. If you buy online well, at the door cost, it's $40 at the door on Tuesday from 4 to 8. That does include all you can eat and one drink token.
Okay.
And you'll be in the business world you'll see the who's who of business owners. You'll see our target audience for this is really business owners, presidents, VP, and C-suite.
Okay.
And that's who we try to get at the event.
All right, very good. Now, I know in the afternoon you have a series of roundtables as well. Tell us what those are and give us a flavor for the sort of speakers and topics people can hear if they sign up for those.
Okay, so we usually sell out. Definitely we'll have a few seats left over for Tuesday.
Okay.
But if you show up by 1:30, 1:45, you can network. It's $50 all access pass.
And that gets you the afternoon and the evening, okay?
Yes, that's a double whammy.
Okay.
And here's the neat thing. We have some speakers that are sharing best practices because what's important to me as a business owner, if I were out there, and I always put on an event as if, what do I need and what do I think other business owners need?
Right.
Because I think that's what we need to do for our own economy. We have people like Dale Decker from Decker Parish Sabatini. We have the CEO of Dion's Restaurant. We've got Diane Villegas, how to write a one-page business plan. We have topics that are on generational differences, operational best practices, marketing, PR, and we have that such diversification. We even have the SBA there because I don't know if a lot of business owners realize that SBA provides so many business tools that are free. And that's what I want to make sure the business are educated on that.
Okay. So how many of those sessions, if you sign up, can you go to? I know that one doesn't. Can you get 2 or 3? What's the format in the afternoon?
Thank you for the questions. It actually starts at 2 o'clock prompt. You sit down. You have 2 selections of roundtables. Okay. And next year we're going to do something different, and I'm going to share a secret with you. We have 12 educational roundtables, so if you go online to b2bexponm.com, that's b2bexponm.com, you can read all about it, and you can go to the top on the registration, and it'll show you under the All Access Pass all the roundtable speaker selections. But next year, I decided to have TEDx talks.
Oh, interesting.
And it's going to be one audience.
Yes.
And it's going to be best practice speakers every 20 minutes where they all get to hear great things instead of picking only 2 tables.
Yeah, so you have a way to associate with TEDx and follow the rules and make that part of your event.
That's my idea for next year.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
Thank
you. Yeah, you will probably need somebody to record that, and I'll see if I know anyone that is good in the recording of video that we might talk about doing something for that. So.
Yeah.
All right. So as I look at some of these exhibitors, there's companies from all over the place, different categories. What's your perspective about what's hot in Albuquerque and what's hot in New Mexico now, and how is the overall business climate? Because you're one of those businesses that if no one's trying to sell anything to anybody, you'll know that, and if things are going well, you'll know that as well. What are some of the trends you see out there as in business in Albuquerque?
I'm going to answer that in 2 parts.
Okay.
What I see right now in Albuquerque is I see solar and energy really growing.
Yes.
I also see technology. You know, it's always been taken off, but I see us doing it more in Albuquerque.
Okay.
Which Albuquerque, you know, is a little bit behind sometimes East and West Coast.
Yes.
Because we're protected by the government. But also what I'm really seeing is I think the energy and the oil and gas in all of those sectors, but the cool thing that I'm seeing, Wally, is businesses are growing.
Yes.
I know Exhibit has grown this year 92% year to date.
Wow.
And I'm hearing it from a lot of my business owner friends. They're saying, we are so busy, we don't know what to do. And I said, hey, don't sweat it. That's a good thing.
Yes, absolutely.
So I do see the economy and business picking up in New Mexico.
Well, we've certainly needed that, you know, back to the economic downturn of the 2008. New Mexico and Albuquerque were really behind the curve, and that's good to see that maybe a little bit late, but we're kind of getting back into our stride again from a small business point of view. Okay, so talk to me a little bit more about just, I'm interested in how you have grown your business over the years. Tell us, when did you start, what do you do, and what are some of the changes and developments that have happened in the time you've been doing this?
Well, I founded the company in February of 2000. Now, this is right before the dot-com crash
Right.
and the 9/11
Right.
that happened. So things were going pretty well in the beginning. My first month, I think I did 42,000 in sales.
Right.
That I opened the door.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now I was lucky because I bought the company from a company out of Seattle. So I had a name and a trademark and all that. Now, here's the thing, is when those two things happened, you know, business kind of was questionable.
Right.
And then I got my GSA contract in 2004. What that means is I'm a GSA Schedule federal contractor
Right.
with the federal government. When I started picking up business that way and then diversifying and realizing, the one thing, you know, I would say to all business owners, when you start your business and you have a great idea, it's easy to open up a business. Some of the things I didn't know, which are your strengths, is I didn't know what a P&L was.
Yeah.
How do you understand your P&L, cash flow, and forecasting?
Yeah.
So it took me a few years. And then I decided to, yes, I was great in business development and strategic planning and sales, but I was weak on that area, so I hired that first. And
All
then
right, and hold that
Yep.
thought. Let's go to break, and when we come back, we will pick up the history of exhibit DJ Heckes and talk a little bit more about the B2B Expo going on this coming Tuesday at Isleta Casino. You're watching the ABQ Show here on ProView Networks.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
Locally loved restaurants like Farina Pizzeria, Farina Alto, and the Artichoke Cafe are the perfect venue for your next event. Farina Alto has traditional Italian food plus handcrafted cocktails in a beautiful Northeast Heights location. Farina Pizzeria with a downtown vibe, amazing affordable wines, and local beer. And the Artichoke Cafe has set the standard for casual fine dining since 1989. Visit our family of restaurants and see what fine dining is all about.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
At New Mexico Highlands University, you're more than a student, you're family. Whether you're taking courses in Las Vegas, Santa Fe, Rio Rancho, Albuquerque, or Farmington, you'll get that one-on-one attention to inspire you to reach your goals. Let New Mexico Highlands help take your passion and accelerate it into a career and fulfilling life path. Find out why New Mexico Highlands is the right choice for you. Log on to NewMexicoHighlands.com today.
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Welcome back to the ABQ Show. We are talking with DJ Heckes about the B2B Expo, b2bexponm.com. Not too late to register.
No.
Go online, get out your credit card. Now, DJ, before we went to break, let's talk a little more about the development of your business. And for those of you who just joined us, DJ is the sponsor of this event, 12 years that it's been going on. But you're talking a little bit about the growth of your business, about how you knew how to sell, but you didn't necessarily know exactly how the numbers fit in your journey. Talk a little bit about that. What did you do to get to where that became something that was a strength in your business?
I utilized all the free resources. You know, you have different organizations in town like SCORE. You know, right now I'm a certified SCORE mentor. But back then, I would utilize any resources I could to learn, because I found out I am a learner. And in order to grow my business, I didn't have to be the expert at any one thing, but I did have to know how to test and verify when you hire.
Yeah, yes.
Because what you don't want to do is just let go of the reins, and then next thing you know, there's embezzlement and things like that.
Right.
So, you know, that's the thing that I did in 2005. And then we grew, oh my gosh, Wally, and you remember these years. I think it was May of 2006 through December 2007, we grew 169%.
Right.
And we went from a $500,000 company to about 1.3, all in a year and 5 months. Now that was interesting, because that's another whole set of problems that you can get into. Because when you have really fast growth and it's not controlled, what happens as a small business is your people either decide to grow or it's too much.
Right.
That's one issue on HR. Operational, you have a whole issue with accounts receivable and operational cash flow. And then we moved to a bigger building. But here's the neat thing. And then the economy crashed.
Well, I was going to say, Dan, that was 2008. Yep.
And then remember, Albuquerque was protected in the bubble till about the end of 2009, 10. So I didn't really feel it because I had the federal government and I had local business. But as those years progressed, I realized we're more of a national company. A lot of people think, you know, we're well branded in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we are. We take care of our backyard. You know, we're the home people. But we're 32% local, and the rest is out of state. And most of that in the last quarter is mostly only 22% local.
Wow.
Because of the GSA federal contract in September and August, the third quarter. So, you know, that's what I found on the business ebb and flows. But here's the neat thing, being a business owner, you know, yes, it takes stamina and it takes guts. But, you know, the biggest lesson I've learned as a business owner for 19 years is really know your people, understand their talents and their strengths, and don't put them in their weakness.
Right.
Because if you have good people, you know, I treat the employees as if they were my customer.
Right.
And if you can keep your, you know, they say this in some of the best companies, I really work hard on keeping the employees happy. I just gave them bonuses today.
Right.
We, you know, they surpassed our first quarter goal, and we've worked hard on this B2B event planning. And if I can keep them happy, then they'll give extra service to the customer because they believe in that culture.
Right. Now, where your business started out, trade show display, now moving to event marketing. There is no business, or if there is, there are few businesses, I should at least say, that aren't touched by technology and the internet. And obviously, if you're working across the country, you have gotten into how you communicate with customers remotely, how you deal with the technology. What are some of the processes you use to be able to serve out of New Mexico, and what have you learned along the way in that regard? You know, technology is very well faceted now. We do a go-to-meeting, I like face-to-face. I really believe when you're dealing with a $20,000 exhibit and you're trying to sell out of state, they need to believe in you. They need to trust. So what I do is a lot of go-to-meetings, Skype calls. We use voice over IP, you know, everything. You know, you have your cell phone right here also. If they have an iPhone, you have FaceTime. But, you know, I really like the idea that we make it personal. And if we're dealing out of state with our customers, I think that customer service that a lot of people have maybe take for granted, we're all in the same playing field now. And really it's the employees, they're looking for the jobs and they understand where they want to work now. So us as employers have got to keep the technology up to date, have got to make it easy for people to do business with, and then we have to service after the sale. And that's what we do. Well, I'm a big user of those technology. My current tool of choice these days is Zoom, a company that I believe just went public. But what I find is that, you know, with the technology, it's still about the people and the relationships. With these tools like that, when you're dealing with something like designing something, I find an interesting thing, wonder what you've seen. Certain types of projects, it's actually better to be on these technology platforms because we can both be in front of our computer. Now it's two people collaborating, but we're using the technology for good as opposed to something that separates us.
And I think that's important because when you're designing something, and let's say you're working with a left brain person,
Right.
that they're very analytical and they don't understand the design part, or you're working with someone very creative and they don't understand the facts, but they need to see the visual. You can cater to both types.
Right.
So you go through the design, and I love the paint program too, or some kind of tool. You can draw circles around things, and I'm not a graphic designer, but I have enough talent to either get me in trouble or
Right.
to make me look good. Depends on
And
the
you
client.
hire people that can
Yes.
really make it happen.
I have great designers,
Yeah.
but they laugh at me when I get
Yeah.
in there and have to dabble. So sometimes we'll be talking to a client and my designer will do all the fanciness. I'll do the talking, but I love where they can see things move. You know, you're looking at an overhead scale of a design layout that's custom to their needs. And you can say, well, let's move this kiosk. What do you think about moving it over here? And we just move it in front of them.
Right.
And when you get the customer involved in the design and they're feeling like they're in that creative process,
Yeah.
I think that makes them happy, and they trust that you're doing business what they need.
Well, and it's interesting you say that because you were one of the first people that I knew of that had that kind of 3D design tool to show how your products work in space. And now with iPhones and the technology that's what would we say? There's good penetration in the market. People
Yeah.
do that a lot. But in your case, you use early adopter of that technology. All right, a little more about the B2B Expo coming up this Tuesday at Isleta. You have a lot of sessions in the afternoon. Just tick off a few of those speakers and what you think they're going to talk about and what somebody considering going to those might look forward to if they sign up.
You know, one of my interesting topics that I see is Dr. Drew Dooley. She's a PhD, and she speaks on generational differences, like in the workplace.
Right.
And I've heard her present. And the topic, if you don't think it's of interest to you, it really could be, because I teach my staff about how do you communicate with different generations
Right.
and what's important to them. She goes over that. We have Diane Villegas, how to create a one-page marketing plan.
Okay.
You know, it's all about the metrics and the key performance indicators. And we mentioned Dale Decker earlier and Mark Herman, and we've got the SBA, and we have, oh gosh, there's like 12 of them in there. And I can really tell you more of the topics, Wally.
Yeah, no, give me the
You know,
topics, so that's great.
I love what Mark Herman's talking about. He's talking about make a mistake, and then how do you overcome it?
Yes.
You know, Dale Decker is talking about digital disruption in today's technology. We have Tom Garrity talking about public relations. How do you really know what public relations avenues to take for your business?
Right.
He explains that. We have Del Esparza. He's talking about also digital marketing and what avenues should you do as a business. But here's the neat thing. It's not about the speakers really talking the whole time. They'll give a 15-minute presentation, but it's an interaction at the table. If you have a pressing question in one of those topics, this is your chance to touch base with a best practice, well-known business person.
So when you call these round tables, they are not going to be so big to where you're
No.
asking a question.
10
in a
people
room.
per
Yeah.
table.
Oh, wow, fantastic. No, that's great. All right, so I will be there. We are
Yeah, we're
putting
excited.
together our package for ProView Networks and the ABQ Show to do something, and we'll tease that. Tune in the coming weeks, and we'll show you the work that we're able to do from that. Before we go, talk to me about what your take is on marketing for people who are in business before, during, and after they start up. Because I know you
Okay,
work with so
yeah.
many companies, you see lots of perspectives. What should I be doing before I start and then every step along the way?
You know, I get asked that a lot as a certified SCORE mentor. And there's 5 stages of business. And if you're a startup company, and before you even get your logo and brand out there, understand who your customer is. A lot of people go into business because they do something well, but not understanding your company, you can't come up with the right message. It's really hard to get the right brand. And then make sure you understand your persona and your culture. Because in today's environment, it doesn't matter what age the buyer is, they're in control, they want it now, and they need to make sure that within seconds, and it's 3.8 seconds
Right.
if it's on your website, and it's 7 seconds in person for someone to make 11 lasting judgments and impressions of you and your business. So make sure you get that well brand. Then you go into the brand sensory package. That's all of your materials, your website, your business cards, your brochure if you have one, any kind of outreach, social media touch points. And then those are probably the important things when you're starting up, okay?
Right.
You know, have that marketing plan in place. Then you kind of transition on, what if you're in fast growth and you see your customers and your sales are coming because you've done everything right in marketing? Well, here's where you have to do the uh-oh factor. It's easy to be number 2. It's hard to stay number 1.
Right.
So when you're number 1, always look over your shoulder because someone is going to come out and copy you.
Yes. Well, and that is a great point. And the other thing that I've heard is that people come up with these business plans and business models that are so unique that nobody does anything like them. Don't get me wrong, that can work.
Yeah.
But all things being equal, that's not as good an idea as you think, because if there's people don't have a way to wrap their mind around what the value you bring.
You know, it's easy to have a great idea.
Yes.
But understanding, does a consumer think it's a great idea, and how to market to that consumer, because you could be the most intelligent person on the earth and have a great product that you think is great. But if you haven't test marketed it and done competitive intelligence, you're going to waste a lot of time and money and energy.
Now, you alluded to it, there's generational differences and other things. Before we have to go, just give me your take on that, because I guess I'm in the minority. I think if millennials like it, I probably like it too, and so I don't see the divide there. But what is your take on that whole millennial thing that comes forward from a business point of view?
You know, millennials and boomers have a lot in common. They both like the finer things.
Yes.
I think the one difference is millennials really like to have the experience over maybe the power.
Okay.
And then I think boomers, we were raised with traditionalist parents, most of us, and I'm a young boomer, and when we didn't have things, we want to make sure our kids do.
Okay.
So we're kind of that generation that came out with the credit card debt.
Yes.
Yeah, we own that, we got it. But Gen X is right in between. And Gen X is the first generation that came out with saying, whoa, I saw my parents work 20 years at a job, they lost it, they don't have trust, and they're the ones that came out with flex time and that life balance. So really, we all have a lot of commonalities. It depends on how old you were between 8 and 10, what's your influential generation.
All right, very interesting. So we've been visiting with DJ Heckes. Hope to see you all out there at the B2B Expo Isleta on
April 23rd.
April 23rd, Tuesday afternoon for the round tables, and still a few slots open, and people can go to the website still, buy tickets?
Yes, b2bexponm.com. No, it'll be canceled Friday night. It was just closed off Friday.
Okay.
So they can show up at the door.
Okay,
Remember,
yeah,
it's
'cause
all
this
you
is
can
some-
eat.
all right.
Yes.
And food, a drink coupon, some of the
Yes.
best businesses in Albuquerque, and a fabulous event. Really looking forward to it.
Me too.
DJ, thank you very much. Really
Thank
enjoyed
you.
visiting with you.